Hmm. जाओ उनको भेज दो. So hello everybody, good evening. Sorry, today we are a bit late because of some technical issues from our side, technical glitches. We are late. So we'll continue from the months of August only, especially the parts where we, the questions which we covered in the last, this live stream or last class. So I think we are done with the polity section, right? Today we'll be starting with some history part, art and culture, and from the months of August 2022 only, then we'll be shifting to September. Fine. So without wasting time, let us start with the first question. And first question is about the this Gadar party. Fine. In history, all of us have studied about this Gadar party. Fine. So let us please read it quickly and try to figure out the answer, correct answer. What should be the answer related to your Gadar party? Fine. So it says established by Indian mostly belonging to Punjab living abroad. Of course, is correct. Aim jo tha to lead a revolutionary fight against the British in India. Even this is correct. Fine. And so we are continuing with the August months where we left, right? We are done with this polity section, right? We are starting with the history part, and this first question is Gadar party. Fine. So please read it quickly and try to answer. Yes, so what should be the correct answer? What should be correct answer? Okay. Okay, though mostly belonging to Punjab, but even this Khankoje, Pandurang Khankoje from Maharashtra was one of the members, founding members, fine. So that's why all of them are correct. Okay, River Devika project. River Devika, located in which of the following states? State, yeah. No, it's Jammu and Kashmir. Basically, it's this river Devika originates in the Udhampur district of Jammu and Kashmir and flows towards western Punjab, that is Pakistan. Fine. Where it merges with the this river Ravi. Fine. So river Devika merges with river Ravi in western part, that Punjab, that is nowadays Pakistan. Originates in the Udhampur district of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, Katkari tribes. Katkari. I mean, one thing how I actually remember this, Katkari, Gadkari. Fine. So remember Gadkari, Maharashtra, Katkari means Maharashtra. Fine. So this is how you can relate the things. Katkari basically belongs to Maharashtra. Okay. Now the next is related to MSPs. Yes. Remember this Katkari tribe even comes under PBTGs, one of the PBTGs. 75 PBTGs we have. that is particularly vulnerable tribal groups, and Katkari forms one of the 75 groups. And even this tribe is there in some pockets of Gujarat as well. So Maharashtra as well as Gujarat, but predominantly Maharashtra. Okay, so question is related to MSP. What should be the correct answer? For this, we need to remember that for the total number of crops that MSP generally declared, that is 23 number. Fine. The highest 7 is for 7 are the cereal crops, cereals, wheat, rice and all. 5 are the pulses, 5 pulses. Again 4 commercial crops like copra, jute, sugarcane, commercial. This one is commercial, and 7 more related to oil seeds like rapeseed, mustard and everything. Yes, so farmers can demand MSP. Yeah, this is not a legal entitlement. यही तो demand कर रहे हैं actually. Fine. So this is not a legal entitlement. Third is wrong. Even if you see first, pulses constitute the maximum number of crops announced under minimum support price. That is even wrong, because maximum group which comes under this is cereals and oil seeds. Both are 7 in numbers each. So we are just left with the 2 as correct answer. Okay, Duncan Passage lies between. Now map based question. Duncan Passage lies between any idea? No, not B. In Andaman and Nicobar, this we have like South Andaman here, then we have here Duncan Passage, and then here we have Little Andaman. If you see the atlas, this map of Andaman and Nicobar Island, so this is how these 3 places are arranged basically. Fine. First South Andaman, then Duncan Passage in between Little Andaman and South Andaman. Fine. So C. Okay, this nuclear plant was quite in news. Zaporizhia. Located in which country? In fact, this is the largest nuclear power plant of Europe. Yes, Ukraine, because Russia attacked and even Russian army, forces captured this plant for some time period, but this is even today it is under the control of Ukraine. Fine. The Ross Sea is the world's largest marine protected area located in Ross Sea. So Ross Sea is basically a deep bay in Southern Ocean, if we talk about continent, in Antarctica. Even at times we refer Southern Ocean and Antarctica this. Fine. Next we have the countries bordering Black Sea. Lots of questions coming around Black Sea. So what should be the correct answer? Ukraine, Russia, Georgia and Turkey. No idea. So for example, here we have this Black Sea. If we are assuming this is Black Sea, then here we have Ukraine in north. Here we have this Turkey in south. Then we have Russia here. And then we have Georgia here. We have this part is particularly Romania. This is Bulgaria. So things like this. Yes. Turkey is in the south of Black Sea. Ukraine is quite in north. And Russia is north, this we can say northeast. Georgia is little bit in southeast. This location is very, very important, Black Sea and the country surrounding this region. We have Sea of Azov here, just below Ukraine means Black Sea here. We have Sea of Azov. Again, this is very important area. Okay, next is, so all of them correct. Okay, regarding Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of Crime of Genocides. Even International Court of this Criminal Court issued a warrant against Putin, Mr. Putin, Russian president, for the sake of crime of genocides. So what should be correct answer? One and three, not three. India is indeed a party to this convention. It's 1 and 2. 1 and 2, it punishes direct and public incitement to commit genocide. Yes. Because the thing genocide is already there in the Crime of Genocide Act. So of course this would be related to genocide somewhere. So yes, this is 1 and 2. Okay, this phrase has been quite popular in the months of August, September, July, August especially, quiet quitting. What could be the answer? So this phrase means not quitting actually job, but quiet quitting means quietly working the bare minimum required, not actually leaving the jobs. Fine. This was, yes, this was quite was there in social media especially. Okay, so we are done with this month August. We will start with the September now. So let us begin with the first question. The capital account in the external sector, that is BOP. Capital account in the BOP consists of, or which among the following component forms the part of this BOP? Capital account under external sector or BOP. Yes, what should be the correct answer? First is we have current account or goods account, right? With there we talk about the current under current account goods and services, right? So services basically invisible forms a part of services. So it should not form the part of capital account, rather it should be part of capital account or the goods account, fine? So that's why invisible could not be there. It's a part of current account, not the capital. So all except 5. Everything is fine other than this. Fine. So that's why we are left with just one on this D answer. Next question. Over leveraged. This phrase was quite in news or quite, time and again we go across this in the newspapers or in economic sense. So what does over leveraging means? If it is 1 and 2, yes. Always become bankrupt? Not necessarily. It's not necessarily. I mean, majority of them have even paid back. Fine. Like one of them, we say that when the government reduce this corporate tax rates, so those who are over leveraged rather prefer to pay back their debts instead of coming up with a new investment or with the new factories or making substantial investment. So this is what we say, that not always. But no, correct one is 1 and 2 only. Okay, Vostro account. Vostro account. We had this current affairs class on this particular account. One of the topic was this Vostro account. Actually, Government of India was in, not Government of India exactly, but the Indian banks were in discussion with the Russian banks to open a Vostro account. Fine. So it is, Vostro account is a kind of account where the domestic branch of suppose particular bank is not present in Russia, but since we want to deal with Russia in terms of rupees, suppose for importing oils and crude and all. So if you want to transact in Russian this rupee and Russian dollars, Russian this currency and not in dollars because of sanction and all. So there we can say like RBI, like SBI opening a branch in, or even not opening a branch in there. Yes, like Russian banks opening an account in their branch with in the name of SBI. Means SBI not in particular opening its own branch in Russia. Similarly, Russian bank or SBI opening account in the name of Russian bank, and not as such that Russian bank itself is opening a branch in India, right, for the sake of transaction or dealing. So that goes directly to foreign exchange transactions. Fine. Okay. Nostro, we call it Nostro. Yes. If Russian opening here account means our bank opening in the name of Russian is called Vostro. If the other party, the other way around is Nostro. Vostro and Nostro. Yes. Okay. For India, rise in international crude oil prices leads to which of the following? Yeah, what should be the consequences of rising oil prices? Always a cause of concern for us. Of course, it leads to inflation. That is the direct consequences. Rise in current account deficit and fiscal deficit. It's possible because of imports. Higher import dependency means we are paying more of, making more of payments, and weakens the rupee against the dollar because we need more of dollars to pay for crude imports. So of course, demand for dollars increasing means dollar will become dearer, mehenga hoga, right? And rupee would become cheaper. And rise in edible oil prices to a certain extent because we do import palm oils and all, there we also need to make payment in dollars. So of course, things could be all of the above. Now overheating of an economy occur. What is overheating? What is overheating? Yes, there is high consumption and low savings, and if there is low savings means its productive capacity is unable to keep pace with the growing aggregate demand, because if there are low saving means low investment, means low productive production or low capacity creation, low further investment. Fine. So that's where your supply is lagging behind demand. Demand is more, supply is less. That is making the economy overheating. Okay. Which of the following measures are used by the government and RBI to control inflation? Yes. Okay. To control inflation. Of course, reducing public expenditure in order, in order to cut the excess demand, decreasing reverse repo rate by the RBI. Is it correct? Do we need to decrease or increase? Yeah, increase, because by decreasing reverse, this is reverse repo, not repo. Reverse is the excess is liquidity or funds the commercial banks park with the RBI, fine, for earning the interest rate and also for the safe custodial custody of their excess liquidity or this surplus. So of course this need to be increased in order to make the banks this deal attractive proposition, so that they would be more keeping the money with the RBI and making less, this credit creation in the market, lending less, keeping more, fine. So in order to that we as a public getting lesser, or we are having lesser purchasing power in the economy, getting lesser money, so lesser purchasing power, lesser demand. Increasing personal or corporate taxes, of course, means again cutting down the purchasing power capacity. So we are left with just 1 and 3. Okay. The money accruing from the sale of national savings certificates goes to which account of the Government of India? Okay, national savings certificates, NSCs, one of the major sources of government investments. Yes, it's a kind of liability for the government. Government needs to pay back in the future. Fine, this is a kind of bond, or the money which government basically uses for making investments, long-term investments. So public account, because it's a kind of liability for the government. Bretton Woods Conference is related to? This resulted in the creation of 2 worldwide international institutions, the famous ones. Basically, this conference took place in the New Hampshire district of this US, and between July 1 to 22 in the year 1944. Fine. And this was related to, basically this conference was related to the monetary or this creation of world institutions. Fine. So there in the discussion or in this conference, there came the 3 proposals: creation for the World Bank, not World Bank as such, but rather IBRD. If option is not there, then of course we need to go with World Bank, but precise this option is IBRD, because RBID plus IDA, which was created I think in 1966, together makes World Bank and IMF. Fine. Even discussion took place related to World Trade Organization, but it never came into existence. WTO finally came in 1995, 1st January, right? So long term this. We are just 2 and 4. Okay, recession and India. Yes, incorrect. That's very important to look after. It's correct, asked correct or incorrect. 2 is incorrect. Of course, 2 is, 2 is incorrect indeed. What about first? First is okay. When growth rate is less than previous year? No. In one of our discussions, even I think in current affairs, not here probably, we discuss about the recession. Recession or technical recession is something which leads to fall in the overall economic activity in an economy for the 2 successive quarters, not a year before. 2 successive quarter means 6 months, 3 months of quarter each, so 6 months and not the year. Fine. And India did experience this such kind of recession before even COVID-19. This was the 5th one. Before this, we have had this around 4 recessions in the past. First one is just after independence, in fact 1957-58, fine, where our basically economic contracts goes into the negative zone, fine, like minus 6.5% growth jo with respect to the previous quarters comparison, fine, not the years comparison, rather the comparison with the successive 2 quarters of the last year. Like if we are comparing this 3rd and 4th quarter or 4th and 3rd or 4th quarter, so 3rd and 4th quarter of this financial year with respect to the 3rd and 4th quarter of the last financial year, not the whole year, fine. So this is how we compare the things. Previous 4, 57, 58, our economy contracted by around minus 1.2%. Then we again had these consequences just during the phases of Green Revolution. 65-66 contracted again by minus 2.6%. Then in 1966-67 contracted by 0.1%. Contraction means in minus. GDP growth is in minus, means less than the last quarters of the last year. And then 1972-73 0.6%. Then 79-80 minus 5.2%. And finally, during this corona pandemic, we see that our economy contracted by around, earlier it was 7.3%, then later on it was revised and somewhere 6.5%, minus 6.5%. So this was till the time being the highest contraction, this one, because before this in 1979-80 we had the highest contraction of 5.2% only. But during the pandemic this surpassed all major, all the contractions or recessionary trend that we experienced in our country. So incorrect are the both. Consider the following statement regarding public debt in India. Okay. Okay, what should be the correct answer? Yes, not the 4th, because this is around 90% of our debt is internal, not external. External is just 8 to 10%. Fine, so 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay, related to liquidity. Liquidity in the banking system. Yes, what should be the correct answer? Yes, the second is wrong because it should be net, not lender. If here we have deficit, means it should be net. The other, commercial banks and banking system as a whole should be net borrower and not the lender. Then only we have the case of deficit. Had it been the case of lender, then it would have been the case of surplus. fine, then only you lend to the RBI or you keep extra liquidity, excess liquidity to the RBI, fine. So just 1 and 3. Okay, sources of arsenic contamination. Yes. What could be the sources of arsenic contamination? So in sources for arsenic contamination, there could be both natural as well as anthropogenic or human induced, fine. So in natural, like anthropogenic, for example, we have anything intensive exploitation of groundwater resources, or application of excess fertilizers, burning of coal, leaching of metals, fine, etc. Further, the third option that we have, iron co-precipitation, it is a kind of tool, fine, or technique for removing the arsenic. So it's an arsenic removal tool or technique, fine. In this arsenic co-precipitation, we do co-precipitate arsenic with the iron, fine. So that yes, yes. So basically it removes the excess arsenic, fine. This is how we do, and this alongside there is another method that we call it lime softening, fine. So these two method has been referred to as or reported to be the most effective for removing arsenic, fine. So third is a method for removal, not a source. So we have issue only with the 3. So 1 to 4, yes. Okay, UN Convention. Yes, what should be correct answer? UNFCCC rather came in the year 1994, fine, and it does explicit, yes, it does talks about the differentiated responsibility for fighting this climate change. So explicitly acknowledge this differentiated responsibility. The one we talk about today, that is common CBDR, common but differentiated responsibilities, where we have that in the agreement itself mentioned that developed country needs to park around $100 billion to developing countries for both, I mean the funds as well as the technologies, so that developing countries could fight back this menace of climate change, fine. And second is, of course, is true, this WIM, Warsaw International Mechanism. Warsaw is in Poland, World War, Warsaw, attack on Warsaw, this Warsaw Pact as well. So this is loss and damages set up in basically 2013, fine. It was ended the first formal acknowledgement of the need to compensate developing countries this impacted by climate disasters. So only 2 we have correct. First is not, I have said try to focus on the extreme, this such kind of words, not always, fine. If something is there, please reread the statement in order to ensure whether it seems to be correct or not. Okay, Black Panther. So Black Panther is the melanistic color variant basically. It's a melanin, this melanin, fine, through which we see there is a darkness, darkening of skin basically, color or even the hair, fine. So this melanin or this melanism is a this process in which we see the increased development of the melanin, fine, that gives the dark colored pigment basically. So this color variant of any Panthera family, fine, or group, particularly of leopards, fine. We see this in Asia and Africa, and the jaguars in Americas, fine, the whole of Americas, not just US. So that's why we see this Panthera, this species under Panthera family, fine, belonging to this group basically Panthera. And this wildlife sanctuary basically Nilgiri we have in the state of Nilgiri, yes, Tamil Nadu, and Kabini and Anshi is in Karnataka. Kabini and Anshi is in Karnataka, Nilgiri is in Tamil Nadu. These two, not two, rather this and this 2 and 4 is in Karnataka. And this Tadoba Andheri, even if you don't know, Andheri we do know. Andheri is in, of course, so Maharashtra, fine. But the question is not related to where these are, question is related to the Black Panther. So there are two questions in this very question itself, fine. So all of them, I mean all of them there we can find Black Panther, fine. All these four. Okay. Changthang Wildlife Sanctuary. Changthang, as the name suggests, Changthang. So what it seems to be, what could be correct? There is only northeastern, I mean this state here, Meghalaya. There we can also say Changthang. Yes, what should be correct answer? Yes, it is located in the Leh this district of Union Territory of Ladakh, Leh. Okay, Panthera again. One and two, yes. Not the only country, again need to emphasize on this, like as a national animal, tiger is the national animal of not just India but Bangladesh, even Malaysia, even Korea, that is South Korea, fine. Next is related to coal bed methane. Yes. Okay, so read and try to answer. Any idea what is coal bed methane? No? So it is basically an unconventional form of natural gas found in coal beds. Yes, or coal deposits. Fine, unconventional form of natural gas. Coal bed methane. Methane is a natural gas. Yes. So it is formed during the process of coalification, where we see the transformation of plant material or decaying material into coal. Fine. Yes. Water discharge from CBM can potentially pollute downstream water sources. It can, fine, because from these coal blocks and all we see. And CBM can be used as feedstock for fertilizers. So CBM can be used in power generation. It can be used as a CNG auto fuel as well, and as a feedstock for fertilizers as well. In fact, industrial uses is there, like cement production, rice mills, rolling mills, steel plants, fine, and for methanol production as well. So lots of production. Yes, so all of them are correct. Okay, regarding aerosols. Now we are starting with geography part. Yes. Okay. Aerosols influence climate by changing the amount of heat that gets in or out. Okay. So what seems to be correct here? One and three examples of aerosols wrong?
Smoke.
Yes. How? Let me tell you. So an aerosol is basically in first place suspension of fine solid particles and also liquid droplets, fine, in air or another gas. So again there could be both sources, natural as well as anthropogenic. So in examples of natural we see the fog, then mist, dust, forest exude, and even the geyser streams, fountain of waters coming out of this below the earth. And examples of anthropogenic contains particulate air pollutants and smoke. Yes, they can influence this climate in two primary ways, changing the amount of heat that gets in and out, and also by affecting the way clouds form, evaporation through evaporation all, because heating mechanism is there, fine. So that's why. And some aerosols reflect the sun's rays that beam on them and bounce the ray back out of the atmosphere. It does. Even this is correct. Fine. So in order to prevent this heat reaching the earth's surface, fine. So all of them are correct. Okay. Since cheetah project is going on there, relocation of cheetahs. Okay, next question. Both questions are interrelated to each other. Means if we are aware of this relocation related news, so this news itself covered in very much depth this first part as well. Indeed, we had the Asiatic cheetah which went extinct not before but after independence in the year 1952. Today cheetahs are mainly present in southern African countries. Yes, today this Asiatic cheetah is today present only and only in Iran. Earlier we even talked with Iran to get back them a few, but there are only 12 in numbers, and even those are kind of this vulnerable under extinct kind of this not extinct but vulnerable and endangered kind of category. So this kind of those which comes under endangered already cannot be relocated to other countries, and those are only just 10 and 12 in numbers. That is Asiatic cheetah only in Iran. Fine. Rather, the majority of these cheetahs that we see remaining around 7,000 of odd population that we found generally in African continent, and majorly in the southern African countries like Namibia as well, from where we are relocating. Fine. And Iran is the only country, of course, and the cheetah is assessed as vulnerable by the IUCN. Yeah, this status is correct. So we have 2, 3 and 4. Next question. First part I have already answered. Whether it is first or not, this is what we need to see. Yes. Any idea? Remember, this Shergarh Wildlife Sanctuary is not in Madhya Pradesh, rather, because Madhya Pradesh में already translocation हो चुकी है. That is a Kuno National Park. So Shergarh is not there. Shergarh in Rajasthan. So yes, 1 and 2. Yes, it can help. Grassland forestry biome. Biome is basically existence of plants and animals in this. So of course it can this improve the habitat as well. Fine. Yes, revive grassland forest. So 1 and 2 only. Carbon neutrality or zero carbon. So what should be correct answer? Okay. Okay. These are the options. 1 and 2, 3. Yes. Always produces 0. It's not like that. Produces basically you can say minimum to 0 or less than non-renewable, of course. So lesser to almost 0, not almost always 0. So 1 and 2 only. Okay, Pangong show quite in news. So first is Endoric Lake. Endoric Lake, any idea? Endoric Lake, or we also call it sink lake basically, or a basin kind of, where we generally see the collection of water, fine, within that basin or sink you can say, but without any evidence of outlet. Okay. So if water is there, means it's there only. There is no outlet as such. This lake, the beauty of this lake is that it lies almost the length of this lake particularly lies around 60% of the area of this lake lies in the Tar region, that is Tibet Autonomous Region, which is, even we during the prime ministership of even Pandit Nehru, we did accept this fact that Tar belongs to China, Tibet Autonomous Region, fine. So we can say that 60% of the length of this lake is in China, fine. So it's a transboundary lake, first transboundary lake, and it is under the process of getting this yes, fine. It is under process to be identified as wetland of international importance under Ramsar Convention, not yet final. So that's why even this is wrong, and of course this is correct. It is a part of Indus River Basin? No. It is a rather part of, not part of this river basin, because it is a separate, geographically separate landlocked river basin, because it comes from the Tar Tibetan region. So nowhere it meets Indus, fine. It doesn't form the this part of Indus as such. So that's why we are just left with one as such. Okay, Yarlung Sangpo. Sangpo or Zangbo, somewhere we find it B, somewhere we see it as PO. Okay. Canyon we know. Idea about canyon? Canyon is basically a deep valley with a steep slope, like this, it indeed forms the this canyon, Yarlung-Zangpo Canyon itself. So it is upper stream of Brahmaputra basically, located in the again Tar region, that is Tibet Autonomous Region of China, fine, and it is the longest river of Tibet. So their name of Brahmaputra is basically Yarlung-Zangpo, originating at Angsi Glacier in western Tibet and not southern Tibet. So first is wrong. Angsi and western Tibet, not southern Tibet. Fine. The other thing is, this glacier itself, Angsi Glacier, is in the southeast of Mount Kailash or the Lake Mansarovar. Southeast. Fine. It is in southeast of Mansarovar and Mount Kailash. And it indeed after this circumventing this Tibetan region and then going down to this further west, this eastward, then it makes a syntactical bend in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Fine. There then it comes to Assam, and in Assam actually it is known as Brahmaputra. Fine. Then further it enters Bangladesh from Assam, and there probably we by the name we know it Padma. I think, I'm not sure, but hopefully we know by the name of Padma, right, in the Bangladesh. So this is how this indeed forms Grand Canyon when it leaves this Tibetan plateau. Fine. So correct answer is 2 and 3 since 1 is wrong. Okay, something about the Venus. Two and 3, no, Venus doesn't have any moon, neither ring. 3 is wrong. Venus is the second largest or brightest star, this object in the sky after moon. Fine. And it does reflects this, it is kind of similar in size to Earth, that's why we call it Earth's twin. Fine. But it differs to a greater extent with Earth. Fine. Apart from size, like on Venus, sun rises in the west, but here in the east. Fine. 1 day on Venus is equivalent to 243 Earth days. So there are quite differences, and Venus indeed doesn't have any moon or rings around them. So just correct is Earth's twin, similar size. Fine. Thick cloud cover, of course, is scatters the light. 1 and 2. 3 is wrong. Doesn't have moon, doesn't have ring. Okay, El Nino, again repeating the same. El Nino and La Nina we already had in previous discussions as well, some questions related to. Since El Nino is there even in news today, just few days back, and it's going to be in news because it's going to be making its onset this year, especially during monsoon. So it remains an important question from geography, one of the probable questions for exam. Okay, so what should be correct answer here? Start with the odd one, like we know that La Nina is good for monsoon, and it was there for the last 4-5 years. That's why we have consecutive good monsoon years, and known for favor India's summer monsoon, and it's not northeast, rather southwest. Starts from there, Kerala, that is from south and then going to west, then further making, yes. So southwest monsoon. El Nino years India have witnessed extreme heat because yes, this is basically the warming phase of equatorial Pacific Ocean. So this is associated with the warming, even you can say, of sea surface temperature, increasing or rising sea surface temperature. That's what makes the water warming. So of course, if extreme heat and below normal rainfall levels is correct. Intense hurricanes, cyclones have frequently occurred in the Atlantic Ocean and the Bay of Bengal during La Nina years. During La Nina years, is it correct? Even this is correct. We do see these cyclones. It's not about rainfall, we are talking about just cyclones. If you see the last year, especially during the, during this beginning of, there are two particular seasons, especially post-monsoon, just the onsetting of winters, we see cyclones, especially particularly in the Bay of Bengal, because the frequency of cyclones in Bay of Bengal nowadays is increasing, it's in a rising trend. Yeah, it's a cooling phase of intense hurricanes. Yeah, okay, so cooling water means low pressure area. So of course lead to cyclones, low pressure area. Actually don't relate this statement with this one, because here we are talking about the impact of La Nina on the monsoon, but here totally we are discussing about the cyclones, the disasters it creates basically, fine. So of course, because low pressure area, which of course helps in cyclone formation. So correct answer is all of them? 1 and 2 only. Okay, yeah, 3 is wrong. Okay, India presently has which of the following research stations at Antarctica? Research stations. Any idea? This is a factual question. So we have two, yes, we have two research centers in Antarctica, namely Maitri and Bharti. So far Himadri is concerned, Himadri is our only or first permanent Arctic research station based in Norway, Svalbard. Fine. So this Himadri is in Arctic and not in Antarctic. Based in Norway, the place is Svalbard. Svalbard Treaty even is there. Fine. Maitri and Bharti is in Antarctica. Maitri and Bharti. So just 1 and 3. Okay. Dvorak technique. Dvorak technique. Any idea about the Dvorak technique? Dvorak technique. Dvorak technique. So Dvorak basically named after Vernon Dvorak. He was an American meteorologist who passed last year in September only. Fine. And this technique was given by him. It is basically a cloud pattern recognition technique used or based on a concept of mathematical models, you can say, for the development related to the development and decay of tropical cyclones. So it studies the tropical cyclones. Fine. This model basically or technique, and it gives in fact the best estimates of cyclone intensity even today. Fine. Even in age of technology, it is one of the best methods for forecasting the tropical cyclone storms and even to gauge the intensity of the storm. Fine. So that's why this is important. Tropical cyclone. Okay, now starting with the this schemes or the laws or the statutes. Okay, PMLA, Money Laundering Act. What seems to be correct here? This PM Shri was there in budget as well, especially in budget. The next question. Okay. So what seems to be correct related to this? 1 and 2. Any issue with 3? One of these objective is to confiscate and seize the property obtained from the laundered money. Nothing wrong in this? If you have, of course, this is one of the objective, because this law itself is a Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Fine. And if you have laundered by illegal methods, then of course that could be confiscated or seized. Isn't it? So all of them are correct. Okay, next is PM Shri Schools, Pradhan Mantri Schools for Rising India. This was under budget when announced by Honorable Prime Minister. Okay. The target is to open somewhere around 14,500 these PM Shri schools, fine, and it's not necessary that this is going to be the new ones. Rather, this can be even, this can be done under this by upgrading your already existing Kendriya and JNVs, or even a school that is run by municipalities and local administration, fine. And this is in line to our new education policy 2020, fine. So this seems to be correct. State unity interested in, of course, have first agreed to implement the national education policy, correct. So all of them are correct here. Okay, this is matching. Okay. Government scheme and objectives. Krishi, so goes with agriculture. Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Seems to be easier one. Yeah, not that complex. Any idea? It is like even going with the English. So Krishi Vikas. Vikas is development. Krishi is agriculture. So holistic development of agriculture. First, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Improve farm productivity. Better this irrigation, better productivity. Parampragat Krishi Vikas Yojana, quite news related to your organic practices. Fine. And Pradhan Mantri Annadatta Aay Sarakshan Yojana, enhanced MSP of 50% to the farmers above the cost of production. Fine. Annadatta, that is farmers ki aay badhane. Sanrakshan Abhiyan. So we are, yes, C. Okay, regarding Places of Worship Act 1991. Yes. Incorrect. I think we had discussion regarding this in one of the classes. Yes, which seems to be incorrect here. Yes, that is the issue here. This is not 26th January. This is rather 15th August 1947. Rest second seems to be correct. That is the core objective of this act. Fine. So we are left with just incorrect. That is one only. Next is Nikshay Mitra is a government project that enables people to adopt tuberculosis patient. Okay. Nikshay. So Nikshay. Should be Nikshay. Okay. Worldwide, remember this TV Mukt, this elimination of TV, the target is by 2030. That is the goal of SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, by 2030. But in India, it was preponed to by 2025. Fine. So second is correct, of course. Even first is correct. Here, people are asked to adopt tuberculosis patients, and this program, national program, covers TB patients from both the public and the private sector. Even this seems to be correct. So all seems to be correct. Yeah, all seems to be correct here, even public and private. Fine, so all of them are correct. Okay, national list of essential medicines. Certain background, this list was formed on the principles of WHO only. Fine. WHO has this essential medicine list as well, and India's first list was developed in 1996. Then it has since been modified just 4 times, to 2003, 2011, 2015, and then 2022. So not every year, it's once a not every year. Yeah, so just 1 and 2 correct, not 3. Pneumonia. According to WHO, remember this pneumonia is both preventable as well as treatable. Though we don't have specific, this you can say vaccination for pneumonia as such, but we do have vaccination for the bacteria that actually causes, one of the types of bacteria that causes pneumonia. So we cannot say that we don't have vaccination for pneumonia indirectly. So correct here is, it can be caused by all 3: bacteria, viruses and fungi. Fine. So here seems to be correct is, yes, 1 and 2, not 3, because there is no vaccination as such for pneumonia, though there are vaccination for the bacterial infection and not for this viruses and fungi. So no vaccination. Correct पूछा है? Yes. So there is indeed vaccination for one of the, it's not entirely. So this is partly correct, partly false. So we'll go with just 1 and 2 only. Fine. Industry 4.0. Okay. This is related to Industry 4.0 that is currently going on. Industrial Revolution 4.0, the 4th generation of Industrial Revolution. What seems to be correct here? Yes. Yeah, because it is more related to this current, IoT, AI and all, not advent of mechanization. It is long way back, industrial revolution in Great Britain because of mechanization and all production processes. So, of course, 1 is wrong, 2, 3, 4 are correct. Dark sky reserve. In the context news was that in India, especially in this state regions of Ladakh, India is going to have its first dark sky reserve. Now, what is it? So, it is basically reserve is a public or private land, fine, with a distinguished nocturnal environment. What is nocturnal? We say nocturnal animals. Yes. So, nocturnal environment and starry nights that has been developed responsibly to prevent light pollution. Fine. So, there we won't be having as such light, the artificial lights. That's why it's a dark sky reserve. Sky could be, sky means the natural light that we are getting from the, yes, but it is land based, not the sky as such, fine. So, correct answer should be so highest in the world is in, not in USA. United States maximum number of dark sky reserve in the world? No. I think that should be France or UK. Yeah, it is France. Around the world, it is France, not the United States. So, correct is highest area under this is a maximum number in France, not this. So, 1, 2 and 3, not 4. Okay, CRISPR technology. It was developed 10 years back. It's a genome editing technology. We call it CRISPR. The full form is genome editing, means it edits the genetic part basically. If there is some deformities, cut down that much part, fine. And basically it uses a protein, we call it Cas9. So, full form is it's clustered regularly interspersed short palindromic repeats. Quite technical. Just remember, this is gene editing tool, fine, and it does not involve the introduction of any new gene from outside. And basically, it replicates a natural defense mechanism in some bacteria that uses a similar method to protect themselves from viruses. And Cas9 is basically often described as genetic scissors that cuts basically. It's like scissor basically. Cas9 is a protein, fine. Is used to break the DNA strand at a specific point wherever it is being damaged, and remove the bad sequencing, so that to heal it naturally, let it heal it naturally, fine. So, correct is all does not involve, okay, all of them are correct. Scramjet engine, ramjet and scramjet. It's basically a air breathing propulsion system. And it uses hydrogen as fuel and oxygen from the atmospheric air. Fine. So, it uses oxygen from the atmosphere and hydrogen as a fuel. Yes, both has an oxidizer. Yeah, so both seems to be correct here. Yeah. Regarding rabies, yes, rabies. Zoonotic, we are aware, something caused by animals. The disease caused from animals to humans. Rabies, like whenever this dog bites and always say, and the virus itself, which is, the virus itself is rabies, that's why it's a rabies. So it's a viral disease basically, or viral disease. Yes, it is 100% vaccine preventable, because whenever dog bites we just rush to the nearby dispensary hospitals and we get the rabies vaccination. So yes, it's preventable. And with the exceptions of Antarctica, rabies is endemic on all continents except Antarctica. No, exception of course Antarctica. Yeah, so rabies is endemic on all continents except this, and 5% of cases reported in just Asia and Africa. So at present there is no vaccine for rabies. That is wrong. Correct is 1 and 2 only. Okay, retrovirus. Type of virus that uses RNA as its genetic material. Is it so? Yes, retrovirus is a type of virus that uses RNA, that is ribonucleic acid, as its genetic material, not DNA. HIV, this human immunodeficiency virus, is the virus that causes AIDS, basically is a retrovirus basically, that is RNA based. And this retroviral drugs are medications for treatment of infection by retroviruses, of course, antiretroviral, so retroviral. So all of them seems to be correct. Okay, black fungus or mucormycosis. There are news, yes, mucormycosis or mucormycosis, even we say this. Zoonotic in nature, it is often affects the sinuses, lungs, skin, and brain. Yeah. What seems to be correct here? Yes, yes, yes. After that. Yes. Yeah, it was not zoonotic. So 1 and 3 is correct, just wrong is 2. It's not zoonotic. 1 and 3 only. Okay, carbon nanotubes. Incorrect. Okay, so both are correct. Namely, graphene is cylindrical molecules, carbon nanotubes, of course, first layer carbon atoms, and applications are many. It does provide strength. Okay, especially we use it in electrical appliances. So incorrect, that is none. Since both are correct. Artificial sun project was launched by which country? Easier one, but the factual one. No idea? It was ended China. Okay, regarding carbon dating. One is correct. Can also be used to determine the age of non-living things. No, it cannot be used for non-living things, I think. Carbon dating. Yeah, but there are certain, but carbon dating can also be used in an indirect way in certain circumstances. For example, the age of ice cores in glaciers in polar regions. Question is correct. Cannot be arrived at through. Yes, second is correct.
What is incorrect?
It seems to be correct. Had it been the case that it is used in every every circumstances or everywhere, then it could be not correct, because it is used in an indirect manner way in certain circumstances, not also not universally. So even let us keep it as true. Carbon dating can also be used to determine the age of non-living things. It can, because it is used only in an indirect way in certain circumstances, not in direct way. So it's up to us how we are treating this. Since there the answer is incorrect, but let us keep it correct as well, but provided it is under only certain circumstances, not universally correct. Fine. Consider the following statement regarding UNAOC. Okay, Alliance of Civilization. What seems to be correct here? Remember, it was established in 2005 on the initiative of the governments of Turkey and Spain, not US and India. So this is wrong. Correct is just it helps to counter the forces that fuel the extremism. Yes, 1 and 2 correct. Not India but Turkey and Spain in the year 2005. Okay, Arms Trade Treaty. Arms Trade Treaty. Yes, it does not regulate the domestic sale or use of weapons, and India has not yet joined such treaty. Fine, so 1 only. Okay, Operation London Bridge. It's related to yes. So this is related to the plan to deal with the death of Maharani, head of the state in Britain. Yes, IPF, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. Yes, what is correct about this? India had a reservation about the free trade, being it a free trade agreement, fine. And this not all, rather the total members are 13 including the India in the Pacific Ocean. The members belong to this Pacific Ocean region. So there are total 13 including India, but not all the ASEANs, fine. So the correct is 1 only. Okay. India has ratified the UN Convention Against Torture. Does not have any exclusive anti-torture legislation. Yes, what should be correct here? Okay, incorrect. India does not have any exclusive anti-torture law. That's fine, because this is one of the reasons that why UK, was not ready to this send back Vijay Mallya to India, because they were skeptical about that our agency will torture. and he even put these allegations against the Indian agencies in the courts of their this UK. India indeed signed the UN Convention Against Torture in the year 1997, but it has not yet ratified. So that's the issue, that country doesn't, unless and until we don't have, okay, what I'm doing is incorrect. Incorrect is India has ratified, yes. Correct is 2. Developing country status in the WTO, yes. What seems to be correct here? Okay, there are codes. What seems to be correct? Yeah, 3 seems to be problematic. Most, not most. Yes, so 3 is problematic, rest seems to be fine, because developing countries does get exceptions, temporary exceptions basically. So 3 is gone, 1 and 2 only. Okay, United Nations Security Council. What seems to be correct here? Three only? Any issue with 1?
Only UN body with the authority to issue binding resolution.
Yes. It has veto power.
Binding.
Yes.
Binding.
This is the most powerful body of UN. Yes, 1 and 3 only, and 2 is wrong. All decisions of the UN must be approved by the, no. This itself is the most powerful body. All decisions, no. It's not all. So 1 and 3 only. Features, not be features of a democratic polity. Now the polity starts from here. Okay. What should be correct answer? The easier one. Be a little quick. Not features of democratic polity. Censorship cannot be the feature. Of course, a military cannot take over civilian institutions. This is again the rule of democracy. So 1 and 2 gone. The government should not be run by non-elected individuals. This is correct. Elected individuals, not the not elected. So this is correct, which are not. So that's why just 1 and 2. Tribunals. Yes, quasi-judicial bodies. Focus on the extreme mode. I mean, the extreme, there are certain issues. Must be compulsorily trained in law. Why so? They already are the judges. Those who form the part of, they already are the legal luminaries. I mean, so why, what is the need of compulsory training? So just 1 and 3. Consider the following: Article 14, Article 14, equal protection of law. Okay. if you read like a lawyer article 14, so it does forbids class legislation, means you cannot legislate on the basis of class like gender, class and all, and other it does permits reasonable classification of persons. For example, a special law can be made for differently abled persons, fine. So it's a kind of reasonable and just treatment for the disabled persons. So it does permits reasonable classification, but does not, but it forbids classification, but it permits reasonable classification. So the issue is with just 2. Yes, 1 and 3 are correct. Preamble. One question every time they ask regarding to preamble. What seems to be correct here? Yes, what seems to be correct here? 1 and 3. 2 is wrong. Of course, it's not enforceable. 1 and 3 only. Contempt of court. Yes. Contempt of court. Contempt of court, remember, nowhere been defined. 2 and 3. What's wrong with first? It has not been defined by the Constitution. It has not been defined anywhere in the Constitution. Fine. So what is correct here? Is correct. Correct पूछा है. No, what's 2 and 3? What's wrong with 1? That's what I'm saying. It has not been defined anywhere in the Constitution. Yeah, we have a separate Contempt of Court Act 1971, not defined in Constitution as such. Fine. But I'm doubtful about the second fair and reasonable constitution, 1971. Of course, Courts Act is 1971. Fair and reasonable criticism and comment do not amount. Yes, all seems to be correct. Yes. Okay, next. Yes. Yes, incorrect. Basic feature of Constitution judicial review that was given in the Minerva Mills case itself. Reasonable restriction is there for, over this censorship of media. ठीक है. So both seems to be correct. So neither incorrect. Right to free legal aid, right to fair trial, right to hearing is a part of. These are the rights enshrined under Article 21 and forms the part of life and personal liberty. 21. Consider the following regarding PIL in India. Original Constitution contained provision regarding PIL. No, nothing as such. Okay. So what seems to be correct here? Two only. It is the duty of no, it's a court rather privilege, not a duty. कहाँ गया duty? Not duty, it's a privilege. This is correct? No, not correct. This is correct. Yes, so 2 only. Okay, the last is the doctrine of essentiality. This is related to the religious practices, basically hijab and all rose in Karnataka. So there comes the doctrine of essentiality, whether this forms the essential part of your religion or not. This is what the court checks under this. Fine. Yeah. So D is 25 to 28. That is right to freedom of religion. So 25. Fine. So we'll be wrapping up here today. We'll be stopping here only. Fine. So that's it from my side. I hope you have got these 2 PDFs. No? I sent it yesterday only. Okay. Okay. What happened? No, even I take time. No, I have just finished this, so I need already compiled, but I just need to mark the answer. Few questions are even incorrect there. So that's not a problem. I have already sent them, not this one for September month, but for July and August. I mailed yesterday only, and actually one of them are on leave today, so I will communicate the same. It will reach to you. Okay. So that's it from my side. Thank you.